Okay, this video, I'm going to show you how to factor a trinomial that has a leading coefficient, right? So we did stuff like this, whatever, that's not gonna work out. But we did stuff like this where there was nothing in the front on the leading term. Now there's gonna be. Not gonna lie, these question types are a little complex. So I added some steps right here. That way, when you're doing your work, maybe you can replay the video and pause this slide. So you multiply the first term and the last term. Okay. List factor combinations. None of this is really going to make so much sense until I actually show you how to do the problem. But this list is here for when you work through your problems, because it is a lot of steps, and not going to lie, they are a bit time consuming. So let's get to the next slide and just jump right into it. Come on. Okay. So I'm going to remind you what I had just told you. The first step, step one, multiply the first term and the last term. So the first term is 5. The last term is 14. Oh, come on. Right? So we're looking at the number 70. Okay, so that was step 1. All right, so step 2, list the factor combinations that add for that number. List the factor combinations for that number. So like we've been doing, like 1 times 70, that's a pair that multiplies to 70. 2 and 35, right? 2 times 35. And while we make that list, step 3, we're going to find which of those combinations adds to the middle term, which in this case is 17. So some of you might see it already, others might not. So, okay, 1 times 70. That does not add to 17. That adds to 71. 2 and 35. No, that adds to 37. 3 does not go into 70. 4 does not. 5 and 14 does, but that would add to 19. So we're getting closer, but those are not our magic numbers here. 6 does not go into 70. 7 and 10. Ding, 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 ding. So as much as you would like to think like, great, we're done, not quite. Like I said, these problems are a little involved. Okay, step 4, break down the middle term into that factor combination. And what do I mean by that? You're basically going to rewrite the original problem. So 5, k to the second. But instead of writing 17k, we're going to write plus 7k plus 10k. So we're using these magic numbers to break down 17, and we have not changed anything, right? Because 7 plus 10 is 17. So we're just breaking that down into the proper place. And I do have some kids ask, well, what if I put 10k plus 7k, like I have it reversed? It's fine. It doesn't make a difference. Step 5, factor by grouping. Me, oh my. So GCF of 5k squared and 7k. There's nothing for the coefficients, so I'm just going to pull a k. All right. What's left? 5k plus 7. All right, what about this part? What is the greatest common factor of 10 and 14? And the answer would be a positive 2. And what's left inside? 2 times what is 10k? 2 times 5k. 2 times what is 14? Positive 7. So again, 5k plus 7, 5k plus 7. And the leftovers, which I have k plus 2 And that's our final answer. That was a lot to take in. That's why the step-by-steps are there. Okay. And for those of you that are curious, what if I listed the 10 first? I'm just going to show you. Hold on. So here I listed the 10 first. Factored the first group. Factored the second group. And then even though it's k plus 2 in the middle, I still am left with the same answer I had before. Just written backwards, but that doesn't matter. All right, step 1, multiply the first term and the last term. 7 times 15 is 105. Step 2, let's figure out what combination, adds to 26. That sure doesn't. 2 doesn't go into 105. 3 does, but you know what? I don't even know how many times, so I'm going to drop my calculator and be like 105 divided by 3 is 35, which still does not add up to that middle term, that 26. 4 does not go into 105. 5 does. 105 divided by 5 is 21, which makes perfect sense. So 5 and 21 add up to 26. These are my numbers. Okay. I'm going to clear the screen to give myself a little more space. 5 and 21 are my numbers. Okay. And then step 4, I'm going to break down that middle term. So I'm going to rewrite this, and I'm going to say 7b squared plus 5b plus 21b. So I broke down the middle term. 26 just became 5 plus 21 plus 15. All right. And then factor by grouping. And those of you that want to list 21 first, try it right now and see if we get the same answer, because we're gonna. Okay. What comes out of here? Nothing but a b, right? All right. So what's left inside? B times what is 7b squared? B times 7b is 7b squared. B times what is 5b? B times 5 is 5b. All right, I factored the first portion. Let's do this. What goes into 21 and 15? Your answer is 3. Okay, what's left inside? 7b, right? Because 3 times 7b is 21b, plus 3 times what is 15? 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, so once you really get the hang of it, they go a little quicker. So 7b plus 5, and then my leftover, my b plus 3. We'll do one more. Yuck. Yuck. A negative. Don't panic. So first things first, step 1. 2 times 3 is 6. Positive 6, but we need to add to a negative 5. Okay, so what multiplies to be a positive 6 and adds to be a negative 5? So the only way to multiply and get a positive is positive times a positive, which would never result in a negative, or a negative times a negative, which could result in a negative. So I'm going to have 2 negative numbers, which are 1 and 6. Okay, but that makes negative 7. So those are not our numbers. How about negative 2 times negative 3? That makes a positive 6. That also adds to a negative 5. So negative 2 and negative 3 are my numbers. Negative 2, negative 2 and negative 3. And then next step on your journey is to break down that middle term, that negative 5, break it down into this. And then we factor by grouping. Final step. Okay, GCF of 2 and 2 is 2. X has got to come out because it's common in both. Okay, 2x times what is 2x squared? 2x times x. 2x times what is negative 2x? Minus 1. Right, because 2x is already 2x. Now we factor by grouping this, but remember that beginning term is negative. We're going to pull a negative 1. I'm sorry, a negative 3. I lied. Negative 3. Negative 3 times what is negative 3x? Just x. Negative 3 times what is positive 3? Negative times a negative gives me the positive. 3 times 1 is 3. All right, so I know these are probably making some of your heads hurt. I'm here to help. I'm definitely going to go through a bunch of these with you.